Hey all, so we were here for week 4, and week 4 is self-realization. So one of my favorite quotes is by Rumi, and it's, "I have been a seeker and I still am, but I stopped asking the books and the stars. I started listening to the teachings of my soul." That's a piece from Rumi's writings. So thus far in our journey, you have begun opening up to long forgotten and maybe never explored places regarding your art and your relationship to it. This is the path of self-realization. In my own journey, it was not until I had the courage to take a long look at myself and learn about what made me tick and how to enjoy creating art without regard to what others thought that I was then able to embrace my uniqueness. This really helped me to no longer compare my work to others. I realized that there was nothing to compare. My work is my song to the world. Like bird song, a sparrow with its sweet tweets isn't even considering to compare itself to the call of a parrot. I encourage you this week to ponder Rumi's quote and to listen to the teachings of your soul. As you work in your journal and in your studio, let this week's meditation be the quiet whisperings that come up as you work. I've developed the habit of jotting these thoughts down underneath the sheet of paper that I paint on top of. So a lot of times, right now my desk doesn't have a sheet on, but I always have a sheet down, and wherever I'm working, I'll just jot off to the side thoughts as they come up. I developed this habit of jotting these thoughts down because the practice allows me to freeze my thoughts so that I can come back to them later. And many times I'll inscribe them on a journal page when it's completed. What amazes me is how potent these thoughts are when I reread them. And so many of them have been the sparks of an entire body of work. This is how our inner muse inspires us and leaves us little treasures as we work. Art is beautifully mystical. Art is a beautifully mystical spirit that comes to us more and more as we free ourselves from the opinions and judgments of the outside world. This is what I encourage you to do this week. Continue creating and allowing subtle sparks of thought to rise up. Jot them down and be amazed by your soul and the unique way you view and capture the world through your creativity. So there you have it, my friends. Week 4 is self-realization. So we will move into the techniques for this week. We're going to be jelly printing in our journals. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with that, and I'm just giving you some tips and tricks of how I jelly print while I'm filling up my art journal. So there you have it. I'll see you in a minute. Hey y'all, so we are back to do some work in our journal. So I thought what I would show you guys this week is one of my favorite techniques, using the jelly plate to also flush out some pages just to kind of get some foundations down. I don't try to create you could pull an entire, sort of set up a jelly plate, do it several times. And I find sometimes the papers can get a little bit too sticky and wet to kind of do it like one page after another. But the glazing technique and kind of working a little slowly works nicely. So I'll give you an idea of how I do this. So first of all, this plate, I think this one is the 9 by 12, which is a good size for being able to lay this paper down and getting the whole bit of it. Also, because it's a lay flat, as we know, that is nice as well. So right now I'm using Champagne, which is by Deco Art, which is a plaid and a folk art product. And so I'm going to do my glazing technique. When I'm working in my journal like this and I want to just kind of create some layers, I really try not to put really thick layers on. I'm just kind of doing some of those glazing layers. And so what I'm going to do is just lay this down here and just pick up a nice impression. See the importance of the lay flat too, because you do get a nice coverage across it. So a little left behind there is probably because my plate is just getting started. That's all good. So you see we get this nice, sort of get this nice glazing across the page. And let's go ahead and do another color. So I kind of just get some foundational colors. This one right here. And I love these color shift. And I recently were talking in the chat a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot who asked me about the color shift. So I thought I would definitely use them because they are some of my favorite. I love the Arteza in the iridescence, but I am crazy about the color shifts as well. And these you can get at Michael's, Joann's, of course, you know, Amazon, just about anywhere, even Walmart sells the color shifts. And they're really some neat color palettes. So what I do is I just kind of go through and do pages like this. Now we're doing this all in one session, but a lot of times what I do, like, see, because this is a glaze, it's basically dry, so that's why I try to do glazes and not do real heavy buildups. But what's cool about it is that you can do this even when you're jelly printing. You know, in the studio you might just pull out and do a few pages, let them dry, and you just kind of keep working this through your book a little bit at a time. You know, you don't have to try to have a big major session. That way your pages don't get all crazy and stick together and all that, you know. Oh, see that color? Oh, it's amazing. So beautiful. So I didn't press hard enough down in that area, but it's okay. So it's not like we're trying to get every bit of it covered. And I have enough left on my brayer that I can do this. Just kind of roll it out. And also this rolling is good too, because it helps to thin the color out so it's not so wet, you know. Starts drying it. It's pretty good. And sometimes what I also like to do is I like to remove too. So if I kind of want to keep on working and get through a few pages, you can also just put a clean sheet down and just, you know, pick some color up. A lot of times with this glazing, you don't pick that much up, but it is a way to kind of start, you know, getting some extra off the page so that it doesn't stick. And then also you can take a piece of wax paper. So I'll say I want to just go on to the next page. Just put a bit of wax paper down and go to the next one, and at least what that does is it won't stick. So let's get, I'm going to show you one of my favorite color combinations with this. I love to use the Flash Aqua with the orange Flash. And it makes a really nice kind of khaki olive green color. So I kind of roll it around to mix the color. Could stand to put just a little bit more orange in it. Okay. So I just always kind of mix it around on the plate to get the colors mixed. And then roll it out. Pick up the next page here and put it down. And just press real good. I'll make sure I try to press in the middle in that center too. But it doesn't really bother me not to try, you know, just kind of getting a layer on here. I still collage on top of it, or you might just decide you just want a jelly print on top of the entire thing, which means you can get that area filled in. So there we are. We have, see, it's like this really nice khaki green color. Really like it. And then you can just kind of take your brayer some more off. Really love it. So right there, just that quick, we've gotten 6-page spreads. This is our first one. Love this. See, this green is so nice. And let me show you what I like to do. So let's say I want to keep on jelly printing on this. I get my small one. This is a 3x5. And I'll start building up. So let me just get like, oh, this is another one of my favorites. This is, what's this color here? Oh, this is Dragon Flash. So let's put that down. And let's roll it out. One of the quick things I like to do is, move this over here, is I'll use the back of a paintbrush, and I'll just do some of my scripting in it. And then we can actually lay this down. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of do overlays like this. You can also use your stencils, of course. So you see, you kind of start doing this. Dragon Flash. Let me get, some orange here. And I just kind of overlap. Got a little bit too much on there. I can even take what's on here and just roll a little bit out to add color on this page. And then what I like to do to get rid of that sort of bumpy look is I'll just put a clean sheet down and pull it up. And then see how you get more of a smooth, just more of a beautiful tone to it versus, it looks more like a monoprint when you do it that way. So I like to do that. And then we'll do that a few times because, so I can do it here as well. I just kind of start working over top of my, what I have there. Okay, and so the same thing, we can just kind of do sort of like a little scripting, scribble kind of thing. And so you can fill the page up this way. You see? And then same thing, I'll come in and just pull some of that up so we don't get too much of that. And then, let me see. We can take, I'll show you what I want to do there. Also, you know, those of you who have my stencils, you can do the same thing. So let's take, this is Red Flash. They don't come out. So just pull that down. Let's get a nice layer. The stencil down. And then we can use it like a stamp. Kind of stamp it. Trying to keep it from sliding, but so much. Okay, so we've got that there. And when I get a little bit of overpainting, and I don't want that in my journal, just grab a baby wipe and just kind of Gently sort of wipe that up. It'll just blend the paint in. You can even use it to kind of blend these edges in so that you don't really have the hard edges from the plate. So it's a lot you can do. And see how pretty that is? It just kind of like integrates that page. So we got something going on in the page, but you can also decide that, so I'm going to take the back side of that and just put it down here. You also can decide that you, you know, you're just kind of doing a little bit so that you can come back and take some of your Gelli prints that you've pulled, and then you can come back and collage those on the pages. So we'll just roll some of this out. And the same thing, just I had some left on the plate, and literally I'm just building up color. And so then using this baby wipe, you can just blend. And it's just so pretty. But you're just using up your paint, you know? And you can blend it out to where the white is. So over here I can do the same thing, bring it over to these edges. So I love using baby wipes personally, because you really get these really pretty palettes. Just another way to put down color. And then, let's see, I'm going to grab my I have all my stencils here, so let me grab this Punchella. So I can decide I want to put that down there. Let's see, maybe we want to bring it across the surface a little bit more. Then what I will do is, let me see what color I want to pick. Maybe I'll go with this blue. So literally we can put some blue down on the palette. Just use your plate as a palette. And just rolling some of this out. And just kind of see if it doesn't want to grab in there. So what I'll do is I'll just put the stamp down. Sometimes it's enough on there, you know, to fill the grooves up, but if it's not, you can use your Gelli plate, and so I'll just transfer the negative and the positive. See? So we get this nice build up, you know, so you can definitely use your stencils like this as well, by just sort of laying them down. I love doing it with, I love this big circle, so I can put that down. And then using, here again, I'll use my plate. I'll get a little bit of the black flash. I love this black flash. It is such a beautiful accent color. So I just put a little bit out like that, and then I get one of my my sponges, and then just, you know, take some off the plate and then just sponge it on. This black flash is such a nice accent. And I really like this stencil a lot. So, thank you. So, you know, you can just do a lot with your different stencils. Just building up. You know how we do it. We just build up images on the plate. See that? I love this stencil so much. And then we can also take, let me see, which one do I want to use? I want to take my I have this one that I like a lot too, but I think what I'm going to do is I'll take my scripting, and it can be fun to put that one right over here. So maybe we'll just have like a whole strip that'll come down. So here again, let's get some black flash. So you can see here how easy it is just to jelly print right into your books. I mean, you could just do nothing but jelly printing on some of the pages and not collage. I have a tendency to do a combination, so I'm sure I'll come back and do something on them. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I really like this, and I'll what I've done. But I take it as an opportunity to play with colors and paints and just kind of experiment. So this is a great place to experiment in your book. With colors and all that good stuff. So I like this, and I'm sure that I would come back probably with some I really like this color palette here. So, you know, it's nice to remember how this one, the colors that were created that. But I also feel like, you know, I always have bits and pieces of papers and vintage ephemera. So when I'm flipping back through, I'll definitely come back through and put stuff on here. So, of course, now this one would have to dry before I'd be able to do anything else, because we don't want that to mess up. So I'm going to let that dry, and then, you know, we might do another page, flush another one out. We're doing good on time. So yeah, we'll let that dry. Okay, so we're back now, and this is nice and dry. I had the book upside down the whole time. That's okay. These patterns don't have a, even my scripting, it doesn't have like a, you know, right or wrong. So this is so pretty. I mean, just to do backgrounds on your pages that you can then just collage on and continue to build up, I think is just the best. So what I was going to do, these are some pages I did, these are some my pages from last week where I actually glued down some old jelly, some of my waste sheets, like how this is a waste sheet. Like I'll take this, and I never throw these away. I'll end up putting them down and then using some of the Tim Holtz stains and different things like that. I just kind of distress them. So I have this area right here that I really like, and this color right here is actually the Tim Holtz Distress Paint in, where is it? In the Hickory Smoke. Love this color. Okay, it's funny because I'm not sure exactly where in this pool the video stopped, because I ran out of memory on my card. Oh boy. Anyway, so this is what that black flash looks like. It's so gorgeous, isn't it? I mean, it's just a really pretty metallic black, and the finish on this is just really good. So I love that. It looks good there. And so, like, okay, so here, I put these pages down. This is just some of my scripting on notebook paper. So one of the ways I would play around with this is I have this stencil here, and I got it from, I think I got it from Michael's or somewhere like that. But I really like it. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of play with it over this. So let's play with it over this. I'm going to get some of the gold. This is the Golden's Iridescent Bronze, one of my faves. And get some of this color off of here. Let's go ahead and just this on here. So you can go back over your, of course you can go back over your pages where you've put other things down and jelly print over top of them using stencils or different things. This is one of my favorite golds. This and the Arteza Aztec Gold, I think, are just my all-time favorite gold paints. So we'll just go right up to the... Make sure that you kind of, just double pat over your stencils so that way you don't get like that crazy paint buildup. I do not like little mountains and the peaks and valleys on the paint. I like it to look smooth and more of a monoprint. So that's why I kind of make sure I just double over everything a few times, just to get rid of all that extra paint. Okay, I think I got it all. So with this, see, then you get this nice like scrolling over that, and that gives a little extra fun. And I think what I'll do is just take and I'm just going to kind of just random stencil. I'm not going to try to get the whole pattern, just kind of get a bit of it, just to bring some gold on this side and just kind of play with it and see what else I want to do. So you can definitely go through your journal, like when you're in the jelly printing mood, just pick up some of your stencils and some of your things and just start working on the pages. And you can just do bits and pieces here and there, and then like I'll come back and do more collaging on top of this to fill this page out. But it's just fun. It just starts giving you some diversity to your pages. And like here, this is a jelly print that I have right here in the middle, but then I would come back with some of the different stencils like that one that I just used, and maybe integrate the page here some. So between that and using the stains, yeah, it's a lot of fun stuff. I was going to do another one, but I don't want this to get messed up, so let me see. It's a little extra down there, but we should be okay if I'm careful. Okay, so let's come over to here where we have a lot of, and let me see, what do I want to, I have all kind of stencils here, so I'm just kind of looking through to see which one I want to grab. So here is, you guys who've been following me for a while know that I use all kinds of things as stencils. So this is actually a sink mat that I got at the dollar store. It's like literally in the dollar store area where all of the kitchen stuff is. And they carry these pretty regularly, so, but definitely walk, and even in the bath section where the bath mats are for your tub, there's a lot of interesting designs and patterns there that make really neat stencils. And they're unusual, and they're big pieces. So you really don't, you can cover a lot of surface with them because they're big. And oftentimes I'll cut them up and use them for the different size plates I have. Sometimes they're really big. So this is nice here. Okay. So see how cool that is? That's off of a dollar store mat. And let's see. Here's another one. So I'll just kind of take this area here and I'm going to make this one a little more random. So just have fun with it, because all of these are things that we can definitely come back over and collage on. So just getting patterns down, patterns and a little texture, and so that's pretty good. Okay, so this is right, this one right here is, see, look at that pattern. Isn't that pattern like so cool? This is a bath mat. So this one was like a large bath mat, and actually I cut the edges. I think I cut some of the top off it too, because it was huge. And so I cut it down into different sections. But yep, this is a bath mat. So for those of you who haven't seen me work with these in my Gelli prints before, and I like this one too. This is a bit of a zebra here. So let's go back with the gold. Just a little bit of gold here. Okay. So let's just we're just getting some of this stencil down, and I like to go over my other stencils too with a little bit of just kind of keeping it random. So this is a lot of fun too. Working in our, oops, it's a little bit directly in our journals with the Gelli printing. So I think now you also see why, like, I was really stressing to get a lay flat book, because, you know, it's so flat. You don't have that hump getting in your way when you're trying to print. So yummy. Look at that. This is looking good. So that's really looking good. So now that's kind of giving us some variety on the page to come back and be able to stencil on top of. And of course, you know, I could just keep on fleshing the pages out. But what I do is I do at a point stop and let things dry, because you don't want things to start smushing and zhuzhing around the place. So I'm going to let this stuff dry. But you get the idea now. So we can just, you know, just pull out your paints and any of your stencils and see if I see anything else to work with. And literally just have at it. I don't know, just seeing if there's anything else I want to do. Oh, this is another mat. I think this is another sink mat. So I can put this here just so you can see what this pattern is like. They're just all cool. Now these will give nice circles. Go back to this. So, yep, just having fun. I like to skip some of them. Trying to just kind of skip around the place just to get a random pattern down. Okay. Just kind of, this is a little thick, so I just kind of like, you know, just like to push it down in. To it. Okay. So, see? We got a nice random pattern of circles and stuff. So this is a sink mat also, like that, like the square one was. So go to the dollar store and get yourself some really cool stencils for not a lot of cash. And really just enjoy yourself. So I think I'll stop there. You guys get the idea of what we're doing here. I could just go on and on, of course, but I shouldn't. I'm going to just go down this edge. Maybe I'll get a little bit of this orange. I'm going to use the orange with this little bit of this black flash. So it's going to kind of turn it to a sort of a darker orange. But that's going to be cool because just do it on this open edge here. So that orange is the orange flash. Okay, I did get a little over painting, so I think I'll just see if I can just do a few extra blocks here. Just to clean it up. Okay, see? So we got that going down the edge using that stencil. And when this dries, I can come back with a little bit of like one of the distress stains or something like that. And also just kind of play with that. So I think you guys got the idea there. So we got quite a few pages. Well, we got 8 pages painted. And then we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We did this one 7. We did this over here 8. So we gave ourselves a little extra, you know, just kind of got into some of the other pages. So anyway, I'm just trying to give you guys some ideas about just little tips and tricks of things that I do to keep on working in my journal. So like in this one session, we got this week's worth of pages done, another 7 pages done. But of course, throughout the week now, we can add to it, we can collage, we can come back with our jelly printing and maybe do some more stenciling over top of it, working right on the book. Maybe some of your earlier collages and other papers that you were using, come back and jelly print on top of them, do some stenciling on top of them. So, we know we're always moving back and forward, because that's where you get the greatest variety in your work. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot more movement and texture and color than sort of like you try to do it all in one day and it's a one and done. You know what I mean? And it may be okay, it may not. But a lot of times, you know, we don't give ourselves permission to come back to it and do some more stuff to it. And not a lot of times when we come back to stuff, we're coming back to try to fix it. But if you don't, you know, if you have this 75, 50, 60, 75, 85% rule where it's 50% done or it's 60% done or it's 80% done, you give yourself a place to go and add to it without feeling like you got to come back and fix it because you want 105% and you don't like it. And now you're trying to say, what can I do to make this look better? So that's why I do this type of way of art journaling, because you know, I never have to feel like I'm finished. I can always come back. I never in this stressful thing of like, oh, I really don't like that. What can I do now? It's like, it's terrible. How can I make it better? You know, so that's another reason why this works so well. I'm gonna see if I can get one of these stains. Like this is dry enough now. This is broken china in the Tim Holtz. So what we're gonna do here, and show you guys real quick, is I get my little baby wipe, and then sometimes this can, quite a bit can come out. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? My little dauber has lost its sponge, so just using a baby wipe, you can just take it and wipe it on the page and see how we're getting that, that really beautiful blue color. So sometimes these daubers go after you use them for a while, and I use them kind of aggressively over my sometimes over my jelly prints, and so I kind of really tear them up. But have no fear, just take a baby wipe, and then so you can just come in all these little areas that are in your spine that you want to kind of clean up. Well, I don't know, is this dry over here? Yep, I can come over here, and that white that was on the edge of the page, just put a little color down. I love these distress stains because you get just the right amount of color. It's not too much. You see it falls nicely right behind the jelly print. So it's really just like a stain, but the paint and everything really stands up on top of it. You can see where there's a layer, and when it dries even more so that you see the layer. So if you have these distress stains laying around from, you know, a few years back when it seemed like everybody was using them. See, I got a good amount on there now. So you can just kind of keep on going and making it a little darker. Oh, that's gorgeous. See, you get more color, more intensity in there. Oh, gosh, this is good. You can rub it over the print because wherever there was white left behind, it'll pick it up. And then you'll sort of have a bit of, you'll get sort of like a crackled or an old wall kind of look with it. Because it really does fall right behind the print. I'll pick it up so you can see it. You see that? Can you see how it really just falls behind that paint? So all those little white spots now just looks distressed. This is gorgeous. So I could just do a little bit more. I could do some collaging if I want to, maybe with onion skin or some trying to translucent. Or maybe I'd come back and do some more jelly printing on it. I don't know. But, you know, it just gives me some place to go. So these distressed stains, probably you guys have these and haven't used them in a month of Sundays. So grab them out. I use them all the time behind my jelly prints. Because it does just this. It'll take just what was just one color, and it turns it into something where the background starts really getting interesting. And then we can come back and start collaging, and you know, I can look around for some of my vintage papers, maybe things that I want to start adding and collaging on top of. I don't know. here is some paper that's a little more see-through. I could actually come in and, you know, just start collaging on top. So there's a lot of ideas that I have working like this, but I think this is a good point. So a good place to stop. So you guys see how we can print the full, you know, width of it, and then come back and do stencils and stuff on top of it. Using the baby wipes, we can really integrate and smooth the pattern around. We can use the stains behind them. You can go to the dollar store and find all these wonderful stencils for $1. Oh my goodness. You can grab some of my stencils off of iStencils, and I normally put the links for the stencils below. So, you know, we can go high and we can go low. You know, like I'm all about high and low. I might want to put a little bit more money over here on some of my supplies. And then what I do is I save on the other side by being creative and repurposing, foraging, you know, found objects, all that kind of stuff. And then this is really nice too. So you can see where this just kind of popped over top the scripting. And I can come back now and do some other collaging on top of it. So anyway, hope you guys love those little tips and tricks today. And in our journal prompt again, of course, is self-realization. We've talked about that, but you know, this is all about self-realization, awareness, becoming awake, confronting the void. I mean, you know, all these things that are really about bringing up our inner muse, opening up our inner voice, becoming familiar with our creative selves, you know. And that's what I love so much about my journal prompts, is that they've always been helpful to me. This idea of the push and pull of visual patterns and techniques with the inner thinking, the inner journey, you know, to really developing yourself as creative beings. So anyway, that's everything. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please thumb it up and share it with other people that you might think want to be a part of our community. If you're first time here, please subscribe and hit the bell. And I shall be back for next week's Week 5 journal prompt. I'm so excited to come back again, and I've been seeing you guys work over in Clarity Through Color, and it's just been amazing. So thank you guys for sharing, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Love you guys. Bye-bye.